Good morning, respected parents, dedicated educators, and members of our community. Thank you for joining us at this Matriculation Family Day. My name is Sharwin, and together with my colleagues Yiting, Joel, Tanya, and Sarah, we are here to discuss a crucial and often misunderstood topic in our digital age, teen sexting. Our goal today is not to alarm you, but to arm you with the critical information. Over a couple of minutes, we will explore the significance of the issue, serious public risk it poses, and the complex legal landscape surrounding it. We hope this talk will open doors for more informed, calm, and supportive conversations with the young people in your lives. But first, let me briefly introduce the team behind this presentation. We are, first of all, myself, and my name is Sharwin, and I'm one of the Year 1 Biomed students who are involved in this presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Ting and I am from Biomed Year 1 student.
Hello everyone, my name is Tanya. I am Biomedical Science Year 1 student.
Good day, I bid to everyone. I am Joel Jen Analaki Jen Lee.
Hello, my name is Masara Aisha, and for my part, I'll be touching on some examples of teen sexting.
Teen sexting refers to the act of sending, receiving, or forwarding sexually explicit messages, photos, or even videos through digital devices such as smartphones, email, or social media platforms. In today's technological-driven world, digital communication has become a central part of adolescent life, and sexting has emerged as one of the ways teens express curiosity, affection, or attraction. While some may view it as a harmless flirting or a form of romantic interaction, it can also bring significant emotional, social, and legal consequences. Unwanted sharing of intimate content can lead to embarrassment, anxiety, depression, cyberbullying, or even criminal charges related to the disruption of explicit material involving minors. Adolescence is widely recognized as a transitional period between childhood and adulthood, characterized by rapid physical, emotional, and psychological changes. It is a stage where individuals begin to develop their sense of identity, independence, and social belonging. Teenagers often seek validation and acceptance from their peers, which can strongly influence their decisions and behaviors, including how they express intimacy or sexuality. With the rise of social media and instant messaging, these expressions have shifted into digital spaces where privacy is limited and risks are higher. Moreover, adolescence is a time of self-discovery and exploration, and sexual curiosity is a normal aspect in this development. However, in this digital era, the line between health exploration and risk behavior can easily blur. Many teens may feel pressured by partners or peers to participate in sexting as a way to prove affection, loyalty, or maturity. This pressure, combined with limited emotional regulation and awareness of long-term consequences, can make adolescents vulnerable to exploitation or regret. It is also important to understand that not all teens who engage in sexting are sexually active, and not all sexually active teens participate in sexting. Still, research has shown a correlation between sexting and increased sexual behavior, as both may stem from similar social and emotional influence. Furthermore, because much of teens' digital communication occurs privately and often escapes parental supervision, they are more likely to encounter complex situations requiring emotional maturity and responsible digital making. Overall, teen sexting is a multifaceted situation that reflects both the opportunities and challenges of growing up in a digital age. While it may be seen as part of a modern teenage relationships, it also raises important questions about consent, privacy, digital ethics, and the role of parents and educators in guiding responsible online behavior. Addressing this issue requires understanding not only the behavior itself, but also the development, emotional, and social factors that contribute to it. Thank you.
Firstly, we have consensual sexting. It is when two teens in a relationship may exchange intimate messages or images. While consensual, this still poses legal or reputational risk if content is leaked or relationship ends. Obtaining underage explicit media or inappropriate content involving minors, regardless of the nature of the relationship or age, still counts as illegal material. Next, non-consensual sexting. A private image shared with trust can later be distributed without consent, leading to humiliation and cyberbullying. This is a form of digital sexual harassment and may be prosecutable. So, some individuals will use the trust they gain from their partners to distribute their intimate pictures with non-consenting parties for personal gain without the knowledge of the victim involved. And lastly, we have coerced sexting. A teen is pressured by peers or online strangers to send explicit content. This often involves manipulation, threats, and emotional blackmail, and may escalate into exploitation. Teenagers are often the target for this sort of sexting due to them being more naive and impressionable, hence easier to manipulate and gain their trust. Predators would lure their victim into sending them inappropriate content.
Tushara sets the stage with the what and why. It's critical we understand the real-world impact. The risks we discuss are not theoretical, they have led to devastating consequences. Let's look at the two distinct types of cases to understand the full spectrum of this threat. First, let's consider peer-to-peer harassment. The case of Jessica Logan is a tragic but powerful example. Jessica was an 18-year-old from Ohio who sent a nude photo to her boyfriend, an act she likely believed was a private expression of trust and intimacy. However, after they broke up, the trust was shattered when he weaponized her image, forwarding it to hundreds of other students. Jessica was then mercilessly harassed both online and at school, called wild names, and socially isolated. The relentless cyberbullying and shame became unbearable. Tragically, Jessica took her own life. The story is a heartbreaking testament of how non-consensual sharing can escalate from momentary humiliation to irreversible tragedy. Second, we have the ever-present threat of adult predators. In another case, an educator was suspended for allegedly sexting with someone he believed was a 15-year-old girl. This highlights a completely different dynamic. This isn't about a clumsy adolescent relationships, but the deliberate targeting and exploitation of minor by an adult in a position of trust. These cases underscore that the digital world can be a hunting ground for predators. The scale of the issue, from both peer cruelty and external predators, is vast, and I'll show you with some alarming statistics on the next slide. Cases example. The individual stories are sobering, and the statistics confirm this is a widespread, systemic problem, not just a series of isolated incidents. Let's look at the data from the UK. A few years ago, police investigations into underage sexting offences more than doubled in just 2 years. The most shocking part, reports involved children as young as 10 years old. The senior police official called it a worrying upward trend, directly linking it to the online environment and emphasizing the urgent need of social networks to act faster. We are not talking about a handful of cases at a time. It was a rate of 17 police investigations per day. On the other side of the Atlantic, the legal system is taking a severe stance on adult offenders. In a case from Michigan, a 35-year-old man was sentenced to 40 years in federal prison for the act of receiving explicit photos from a 15-year-old girl. His plea deal resulted in even more severe charges from being dropped. This case sends a clear message about the gravity with which the law views the exploitation of minors. It shows we are fighting a battle on two fronts: the internal social dynamics and pressures among teens themselves, and the external threat from predatory adults who exploit digital connectivity.
Furthermore, there are several factors that might cause teen sexting to occur, such as getting attention. There have been numerous examples within pop culture of people who owe their celebrity status and subsequent fortune to elite sexting. This has led some young people to believe that they may get spotted and secure a career as a model or television personality if they post provocative pictures online. Other young people use sex to gain the attention, affirmation, and admiration of potential love interests. In short, such reasons include outside influence or media, for fame or short-term gain, or for financial incentive. Next, we have communication. Children sex to communicate with each other. Younger teens sometimes send sexually suggestive messages to platonic friends as a form of humor. For children in established romantic relationship, reciprocity can be the motivation for sending sex. Because for every sex you send, you can expect to receive one in return. A feature of sexting that appeals to young people is that it is usually a private form of communication, safe from adult intervention. However, it is often bad or negative in nature. It is unconventional, mature, or unsuitable for their age, and it can also be for sexual gratification. Lastly, we have experimenting. As children grow up, it's reasonable that they might want to understand how their bodies work and are changing. Some children take pictures of their naked bodies to help them get better view of themselves. They might not even intend to distribute these images, but by legal definition, these personal images could be considered child pornography and could also become sex, were the images to be shared. Such factors of experimental reasoning could be puberty or hormone, or general curiosity or exploration. That is all for my part. I'll be passing it to my peers. Thank you.
Okay, now I would like to share some effect of teen sexting towards the victims and also that the people that involved in the teen sexting. So first and foremost, the most common effect that we can see occur at the victims is emotional effects. As the slide mentioned about, victims that involved in the teen sexting will avoid themselves to get along with other people, and they will feel that once their friends or people they trust found out this incident, they will be judged as a strength and also lose the friendship. Hence, they will think that escape is the only way to protect themselves from judging and also the shame. So, the individuals that involved in the teen sexting often experience intense emotional, depressed, and also self-doubt. So, they might question themselves by thinking, will others laugh at me if they know that this incident occurred on myself? And will they think that I'm a stranger? So, such thoughts can create a significant anxiety and a fear of social judgment. So, this will leading victims to withdraw from the communication and isolated themselves from the others. As illustrated in the picture, the girls say about that, I don't want to see that. So it clearly demonstrates the emotional struggle faced by the victims of the teen sexting. So in my opinion, I think it's very dangerous for the victims because if this situation occurs continuously, it will cause a depressed occur towards the victims. And the most serious situation that will occur is they will choose to suicide themselves to end their life. Hence, I think that emotional effect is the most common and the most dangerous effect that will occur towards the victims that involved in the teen sexting. Next, individuals that involved in the teen sexting are also exposed to the significant privacy risk. Even if a person sends a text or the message to someone they trust or they believe that they will keep it confidently, but research indicates that once an image or the message is sent, there is a high chance that it will be forwarded or shared with others. So within a minute, the image or the text can be copied, pasted, and also distributed across a various online platform or sent directly to other people. So in some cases, the content may be saved onto the hard drive, printed, or even uploaded to the public website. Once such the materials are shared, the sender loses the control over them and making it nearly impossible to delete the content. So this lack of the control can lead to several reputation damage, social humiliation, and long-term emotional distress. Moreover, the spread of the explicit content involving minors can result in the legal consequences for both the sender and the person who shares the materials. Therefore, the privacy risks associated with teen sexting are extremely serious as they not only threaten an individual's personal reputation and also emotional well-being, but also have the potential social and legal implications that can persist throughout their life. last but not least, it will have legal consequences towards the people that asking other people to send this kind of the message. A naked or a sexually explicit picture or a video of a person under 18 years old is by legal definition child exploitation material, and the making, transmission and possession of such image can result in serious criminal charges. For young people that below 18 years old who engage in the teen sexting, they are not treated by the law same as the child sex offender. There is another law to protect young people from criminal charges in certain cases. But once a person turns to 18 years old, the expectations that listed above are not longer to apply. So even the person get the image when they are under the 18 years old, but the penalties for the making, processing and also transmission of the child exploitation material are very serious and result in imprisonment and register on the sex offenders register. So there are also two types of the offense that related in this behavior, which is distribute an intimate image or threaten to distribute an intimate image. So these offenses are applicable for everyone, not only for the young children. So this is where the intimate image is shared or threatened to be shared without the consent of the person that depicted in the image. Okay, so that's all from me, and now I would like to pass my presentation to next person.
Now, let us discuss the public risk and issues. Psychological impact. Teens involved in sexting often experience profound psychological consequences that can affect multiple areas of their lives. When private images or messages are shared without consent, the emotional aftermath can be severe. Feelings of anxiety, depression, guilt, or shame frequently emerge as teens struggle with loss of control over their personal privacy. The fear of social judgment from peers, parents, or the broader community can significantly erode their self-esteem and emotional stability. In many cases, public humiliation leads to withdrawal from social interactions, difficulty trusting others, and in extreme situations, self-harming behaviors. Over time, these emotional struggles can hinder academic performance and social functioning, as affected teens may find it hard to concentrate in class, participate in group activities, or maintain healthy relationships. Secondly, cyberbullying and exploitation. Another major concern linked to sexting among teenagers is cyberbullying and sexual exploitation. Once intimate content is shared digitally, it can easily spread, reposted, copied, or manipulated, leading to bullying, shaming, and online harassment. Offenders, sometimes peers, but often online predators, may use these images to coerce or blackmail victims into sending additional explicit material or engaging in unwanted acts. This manipulative cycle, known as grooming, can start subtly through emotional manipulation or flattery, but it often escalates into severe sexual exploitations and psychological abuse. The ongoing fear of exposure or humiliation creates a long-term emotional distress, often resulting in trauma, anxiety disorders, and social isolation. These experiences not only harm mental health, but also can leave a deep, lasting scars on a teen's sense of self-worth and safety.
So, how to prevent teen sexting? Always get constant before sharing pictures of other people. Introduce your child to sexual education early. Build trust and allow your children to feel comfortable sharing anything with you. Parents can give advice about if someone asks your teen to share sexting. Tell them to refuse and block the person. Make sure to lock your account and device with strong PIN or password. Do not share with anyone.
Legality of teen sexting, Part 1, The Problem. Later, we will detail the direct consequences for teens, but I want to frame the broader legal dilemma. The legal landscape surrounding teen sexting is one of the most complex aspects of the issue. It creates a difficult collision between the need for robust child protection and the reality of adolescent behavior. The core of the problem lies in the definition. In most jurisdictions, any nude or sexually explicit image of a person under 18 is legally defined as child pornography or child exploitation material. This means that the simple act of a 16-year-old taking a picture of themselves, particularly a selfie, and sending it to their 16-year-old partner technically constitutes the making and distribution of the child pornography. The law, written to punish predatory adults, inadvertently captures consensual, if unwise, teenage exchanges. The consequences of being charged under these statutes are severe and life-altering. A teenager could face felony charges and, if convicted, to be required to register as a sex offender. This can mean restrictions on where they live, limited future employment opportunities, and a permanent public stigma that is tragically disproportionate to the act. This is the harsh legal reality that many young people and their families can face. Now, moving on to legality of teen sexting, Part 2, Evolving Solutions. However, in response to this glaring dilemma, many legal systems are beginning to evolve. There's a growing recognition that a one-size-fits-all approach can cause more harm than good. Let's look at some of the evolving solutions. First of all, diversion programs. Instead of formal prosecution that leads to criminal record, many jurisdictions now offer educational diversion programs. Teens may be directed to workshops that teach them about the consequences of their actions, digital citizenship, and responsible sexuality. The goal here is rehabilitation and learning, not permanent criminalization. Next is the Romeo and Juliet laws. Exceptions. Some countries have introduced legal exceptions or modified penalties for cases involving consensual sexting between minors who are close in age. This aims to distinguish between exploitative crime and adolescent folly, ensuring the punishment fits the context. Finally is the emphasis on education and non-legal intervention. There is a strong and growing push for schools and communities to handle these issues throughout restorative justice, counseling, and paramediated solution first, reserving the full force of the law for cases involving clear malice, coercion, or adult predators. The key takeaway is this: the legal system is struggling to find the right balance. We must protect children from genuine exploitation without criminalizing an entire generation for a mistake made during their development years.
Now let's watch the video.
Jack, I just got this strange text from that cute new boy, Chris.
Whoa, that's kind of creepy.
I know. Ew, what do I do?
I know you like him and all, Mabel, but I wouldn't do it. You barely know him.
But he's so cute. I don't want to just turn him down.
Sending nudes can lead to some weird stuff. My parents told me about this girl whose pictures ended up all over the internet because a boy asked her for some nude pics and then he shared them everywhere. It was a big deal.
Oh God, I'd be totally mortified. I want him to like me and all, but this is so uncool.
Totally. And if he stops liking you just because you don't send that to him, then he doesn't like you the way you want him to anyways.
Chris, what's this text about?
What text? Oh, that. It's nothing.
You know, feeling attracted to someone is a perfectly normal part of growing up.
Ugh, Dad.
No, Chris, you need to listen. There are way more respectful ways to show someone you like them. And beyond that, asking someone to send naked pictures on your phones is very dangerous.
What? How?
There could be legal consequences. It's actually considered child pornography in some states. At the very least, it's sexual harassment. You need to make this right.
Hey Mabel, can I sit next to you?
Sure.
I wanted to apologize for sending you that text. My friends were pressuring me to send it, but it didn't feel right. I didn't mean to creep you out.
Thanks. It made me feel kind of weird, but I appreciate your apology.
I have a different and much better question.
You're right, that is a much better question.
Let's move in the conclusion part. In conclusion, our explanation into the complex issue of teen sexting reveal a landscape far more announced than a simple matter of right or wrong adolescent behavior. It's a modern phenomenon sitting at the intersection of normal teenager development, rapidly evolving technology, and serious logical and physiological consequences. We have things that the significance of this topic phenomenon, and it is reality that many young people encounter, driven by curiosity, social pressure, or a desire for the intimacy. However, this digital explanation carry profound public tissue and risk, including potential and severe physiological trauma from shame and cyberbullying, and lasting digital footprint that can impact future opportunity, and the real spread sexual exploitation. Furthermore, the illegal actions associated with teen sexting and severe orphan upbringing, with minors potentially facing child pornography, change that can brand them as sexual offender for life, a consequence that tragically disproportionate for many young people involved. Therefore, our response must be as multi-phased as the issue itself. Preventive measures alone are not the solution. Instead, we must build a foundation of proactive education, open communication, and supportive intervention.